Hey, everybody, listen up. I got mega huge news. Meat Eater Live is heading back out on the road. That's right. Join me and the crew. Clay Newcomb, Cal, Yanni, Spencer's going to be there. Phil the Engineer's going to be there. Meat Eater Live, headed back out. Now, when you get every ticket, okay, every ticket you buy, you get a signed copy of our new Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook. This tour is celebrating the release of the book. Buy a ticket, get a signed copy, Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook, wild game recipes for the grill, smoker, camp stove, and campfire, which I'll point out is a $38 value. Here's where we're going to go. April 23rd, the Mesa Arts Center in Mesa, Arizona. April 24, the Balboa Theater in San Diego. April 25, the Grove in Anaheim, California. April 27, the Crest Theater in Sacramento. April 29, the Union in Salt Lake City. April 30, the Egyptian in Boise. May 1, the Wilma Theater in Missoula. May 2, the Bing Crosby Theater in Spokane, Washington. May 4, Revolution Hall in Portland, Oregon. And May 5, the last day of the tour, Pantages Theater in Tacoma, Washington. For tickets and more information, visit the events page at themeateater.com. Hope to see you at the show.
Hey, this is Tyler Jones, and you're listening to the Element Podcast.
There's a hole inside my heart that cannot be replaced. It's not just who you were or what you did. It's part of me that was a kid that I cannot get back.
What's happening, all my woods people? We are chilling in my automobile. We are driving north. We went to a secret location. We're always in these secret locations.
We're secretive fellows.
And this was a public spot, but it was on private land. These people going to stop trying to T-bone me? Anyway, we did a podcast that we'll release here in the next month or so, probably. And we're going to keep it on the DL for now, but it was a good one. And I was kind of bummed we didn't get the pizza that I wanted. But we did get to go get some really good Mexican food. So,
oh yeah, Tex-Mex to a T, man.
Yep, it's
like
hard.
I'm this is me ordering Mexican food. I either want something like nachos, like super Tex-Mex, or I want something like carne guisada or chili relleno or something like really like traditional. Yeah, like one of the two. Yeah. I'm not like oh yes, I'll have your tostada with a side of gordita, and, you know, like
yeah,
one or the other.
I hear you on that, man.
So if you want to just like take some chili powder, put it on some meat, next to some rice and beans, I'm good with it.
Are you?
Yes, dude. Mexican food is my favorite.
I do love Mexican food.
Yeah.
But right now, what we are going to talk about is Texican things, and I guess actually mine not so much, but yours is.
Yours is a Texoman thing.
Yeah, it's kind of a Texclahoma. But we have a couple of trips. We just wanted to check in pretty briefly here, make sure you guys are not missing us too bad, and tell you about the trips we've been on, maybe discuss a few things here and there before we have to drop KC off at his Toyota Tundra. So anyway, you had quite the adventure is what it looked like, and you guys have been doing like I guess an annual hunt with you and a bunch of your buddies. Yeah. Longtime buddies. What's the scoop on that?
Well, I went to a big college town for college, Texas A&M. And when you go to such a place, when you're from a small town, you tend to like congregate with people who look like you. And whenever we go places, me and all my friends I went hunting with, a lot of us, they're all like, are y'all brothers? I'm like, no, we're not brothers. But anyways, so you make friends with people who like to do the same stuff you do. You know, it's kind of how friends go a lot of times. And ends up one of those friends happens to have a really nice family ranch that they're really cool about us coming out and doing some doe hunting and stuff in the spring, varmint hunting or whatever. Just a good place to go hang out and just get away. I mean, I literally had no cell phone service while we were out there the whole time, which was great and also bad because there's some emails and stuff that I needed to answer, and also a wife who was like, hey, why haven't you called me? But we got that all ironed out. Everything's good. Anyways, spent 3 days in the Texas Hill Country, doing some doe hunting. I spent a lot of time in a tree stand.
You weren't just looking for does, though.
Yeah, not just does. There were a couple of bucks that were on the list. You know, it's a doe and spike season right then. And then also, I don't know if any of y'all happen to follow our Facebook and Instagram pages. If you don't, you should. But I posted a picture of a really interesting, put it in quotes, buck that was harvested on the ranch that weekend. So this place, we've had a couple different answers. One of our good friends at QUMA has kind of weighed in on a couple things that we had going on with this deer. But he had underdeveloped testes, okay? And it has caused him to have, like, low T his whole life. He was 10 and a half plus years old.
Really?
Teeth worn to the jaw. Had a rumen that was full of food and was stick skinny. All we can figure is that he couldn't, his food wasn't very digestible because he didn't have enough teeth to chew the food with. So he had a full stomach content, teeth worn down, and had what I could only describe as pine cones wrapped in fur on top of his head. Jake called him Christmas tree because his two little horns, or not little horns, I mean, the deer, if you measured it like base measurement, it'd probably be like a 6.5, 7-inch base deer, you know. But
had you seen him before?
Mm-hmm. He has him on camera, and I'm gonna do a little write up about this later, you know, a little bit more extensively. But I posted that deer on Facebook to just see what people thought of it and what they thought the problem was.
Why didn't they just buy some eugenics for him?
I don't know, man. Apparently, that genetics thing is a little bit more complex than just feeding the deer some
Nugenics?
Yeah, what is that?
Oh, it's you hadn't seen the Nugenics commercials?
I don't guess.
Well, Frank Thomas is the poster child. You know Frank
Thomas.
White Sox.
Is that like steroids? Nugenics?
Yeah, it's testosterone booster.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Cool.
that joke went over well.
Sorry, I don't really have TV, so I don't really have a way to watch these things.
It's okay. Everybody else might get it, but
Good.
That's all right.
They can laugh at me and your joke.
That's what I was hoping, actually.
Yeah. So I'm kind of rambling about this deer. I'm not really putting this together well, but anyway, was one of the targets. They have a high population of what they call stags out there. We're not talking about European red deer. They call a stag a buck like that doesn't lose his velvet and never functions as a buck, just happens to have horns. And they are males, but the game warden says you can tag them as a doe, which I thought was kind of strange, but that's what he said. Now, if you take that deer across the county line and encounter a different game warden, who knows how that's going to go for you. But either way, this deer was a spike, so he's legal either way. Anyways, it was a really cool deer, and those deer are always like on the hit list for us out there as well. So,
they have MLD permits though, don't they?
No,
Oh.
I know. I don't know why they haven't done that yet, but they should. I told Jake, I was like, if you get MLD, you can we can be shooting bucks or whatever right now, and
or at least not having to worry about things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, well, we should look into that. So, anyways, that deer got shot. We ended up harvesting 23 deer, I believe, that weekend between 10 of us. So
I think that's the total number of deer on the public lands that we hunted
pretty
this
much.
year.
It's pretty much it. I'm telling you, it was nice to go and sit and see deer. And I didn't even have great opportunity with a bow at all. I busted out the rifle the last day and shot a deer just because, it's a meat hunt. So I needed to do that. I needed to acquire food. And but anyways, I set up my tree stand quite a bit. And, man, it's tough going out there. It's just a different country, different habitat. And, okay, so this is something that's kind of, I guess, ignorant on my part in the moment, but, out there, they have the traditional places that you go and hunt. And you and I have talked about this, in Kansas, y'all got different names for all your different places or whatever up there, and that's the same thing there. We got Blue Pickup Cab, we got Slaughterhouse, we got East Draw, all these different things, And so we just all go set up in one of these different places. But now looking back, I'm like, okay, I know deer walk through this creek bottom every day, every morning. Why did I not go down there and set up? And it's because it's just a non-traditional place for someone to hunt at the ranch. And now looking back, I'm like, okay, I need to rethink Because when you go out there, it's all geared around rifle hunting because that's what they've done for forever. And I understand why, because you can see 600 yards and it's really hard to get close to a deer, But all the what? What?
I wasn't sure what you were trying to say there for a second.
Yeah, it's hard to get close for a bow, So like it makes sense to rifle hunt there. Mm-hmm. But I love to bow hunt, so that's what I was doing for a while, and it did not go great. So I still had like 2 or 3 sits where I didn't see a deer within 600 yards of myself. I could see deer on the opposite hills that are way over there, but that didn't really do you any good when you can only shoot 40. But
yep.
Either way, it was a ton of fun, man, and it's always good. Like, I just love the camaraderie of deer camp and stuff. And, I've talked about this. Like, when we go do public land stuff, yeah, you and I are having a blast all the time. We laugh way more than any human should ever laugh in a tree stand. But at the same time, like, I love going back and, like, cooking up some deer sausage or chili at night and kicking back and hanging out, relaxing and telling stories. Yeah, fire. Not worrying about smoke too much, when we're deer hunting around at public land, we're like, oh, scent control, out there, I'm like, okay, whatever. We're just, having fun hunting. And it's all, and then you add in an aspect of like, you got all your good college buddies that, you like grew up with pretty much like from 18 to 21, 22, saw them every day, cohabitated with them, and then like you only get to see them like 2 or 3 times a year now. Like it's a lot different, and so you all get back together and you just get to like rekindle these friendships that not that they went away, but it's just it's just different now. We all have families and live in different parts of the state, and it's just such a relief to go out there and hang out and get to do what we all love to do, like our common ground, that's hunting, and then also be removed from the rest of the world because you don't have any cell phone service. Mm-hmm. It's great.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you're listening to this, and if you listen to this podcast, you probably get a lot of, you probably really like to. I mean, you could be trying to learn a lot of stuff, or just trying to learn a few things here and there and pick up something from experts, and you're hardcore about it or whatever. And I would highly suggest making sure you have one of these hunts in your arsenal every year. Because. Mm-hmm. There is just something different about it, Like my dad has talked about it before too. Like, we go up there to Kansas to kill big deer. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. Not everything's about antler size. We enjoy camp and stuff like that, but we're not driving, 6-8 hours to places just to kill a deer. Which
is funny because I did for this weekend.
Oh yeah. but there's camaraderie where
exactly.
you meet up there.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's like, I mean, we could kill a deer here, in our backyard just about, and so we're going up there to shoot world-class deer, and same thing people go to Iowa for, and people go to Missouri for, and all these other places where Ohio, where they go to kill big deer. It comes down to this, because of this drive to do such, and the investment in time and money that you have, you a lot of times don't have a bunch of guys that are that dedicated that want to go do it with you, so you're missing out on some of that friendship and fellowship. And then you also have things like, and I know you probably experienced this when y'all had leases in Texas, but man, there's something kind of cool about like taking the camp Jeep out or truck out at night or whatever and shining fields and, there's a rabbit, let's shoot him with a 22, or there's a snake and I got a pistol in my holster with rat shot in it, and let's shoot that rattlesnake or whatever, like there's just something about kind of having a little more relaxed atmosphere and just kind of shooting some stuff and being a boy or a man, essentially, and just kind of doing what you do, having fun. I don't know, I'm probably stepping on some people's toes here, but like, I don't know, just sometimes you get so wrapped up in deer and what they do and the tactics and how you're going to hunt them and the big one that you kind of lose sight of what hunting should be.
Well, that's kind of the relief going out there on this like doe hunt. It's a management hunt, not in the sense of like we're going to go shoot a management buck, which that's a different subject altogether about that. But like, there's no pressure to like go out there and like work really hard to kill the right deer. You know, like a
Right.
doe is a doe is a doe. So it's all about just going out there and hunting deer. Almost, it's kind of akin to like a Native American sense of hunting deer.
Right.
You know, like you're going out there, and yes, you're doing things, you're strategizing to kill a deer, but it's not like you're letting anything walk. You know, unless
Right.
it's like something that you're not legally allowed to take. But it's really subsistence style hunting.
Right.
And it's cool how relaxed and how much fun you can have whenever it's more about that and a lot less about trying to achieve personal goals.
Well, it's pretty exciting too that when you think about it, like anytime you see movement, you're like, I need to be ready. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Whereas like when you're hunting a 4-year-old plus deer, you don't reach for your bow until you know he's coming pretty much. You know,
Yeah.
like you see a deer moving and you're not reaching for your bow until you know what it is, you know, whatever. Usually, you know, you see a doe and you're like, oh, and you don't really quite get the same excitement out of it as when you see a doe and you've got a doe tag in your pocket, you know, that
Yeah.
you're trying to burn. So, I mean, that's another cool,
You know,
aspect.
something that you said though, like about going out and shooting the snake or the what's the thing? I don't remember, rabbits and
Rabbits.
stuff. Like, yeah, we've done that, and like, and as I grow up, like the less and less I want to kill things,
Right.
Which is a weird thing, but I know exactly what you're saying because I've done it. and We've all done it. There's deer on the side of the road. Be careful.
Oh, thank you.
Bunch of them.
Yes, there are.
Golly, everybody's cold and hungry.
Yeah.
And I had an experience this weekend, and it was kind of, or not this weekend, that whenever that happened. I guess it was this past weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it was kind of surreal. I've done a lot of varmint hunting, shot a lot of varmints, and I understand that predator control is very important. But we were standing outside cooking up some back straps off of some deer, and we were going to have backstrap steaks. And I had asked the guys to bring me back some hearts because I wanted to do hearts that night on the grill as well, which turned out amazing. I can't wait, dude. When we do our heart cook here pretty soon, it's going to be so good.
I'm just waiting.
I'm ready.
Just waiting.
But anyways, while we're outside cooking, it's me, my good friend whose family owns the place, and another guy who was there that I'm not as close to. He came up with another family member. And we're standing around cooking, you know, talking or whatever, and like this gray fox comes up, like in the campfire light. We can see him. He's just like trying to be a camp robber or something, you know, like kind of trying to come in and steal some meat. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. That fox, you know, what a pretty animal. And this guy, other guy, like, hey, there's a gray fox, and runs and grabs a shotgun and shoots it. And I don't know how I felt about it. It was
Yeah.
really strange. Like, I can't even say that there's nothing really wrong with it because I felt wrong about it. And maybe I'm just being a big wuss. I don't know. But, like, I just didn't feel like we were going to make use of that animal in any way. And he wasn't hurting anything.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have shot it. But, you know, I didn't stop him either. You know, like, if he wanted to do that and it brought him joy, should I have said something to him about it? I don't know. And it's funny how much I let that bother me and how much I thought about that. I hadn't really talked to you about this, but it was kind of a weird deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't know if it's because it was a fox and not like a, you know, if it's been something a little bit less animated, you know, like what if it was like a armadillo? Or what if it was like, you know, a frog or something, you know? Am I just putting weight on animals because, like, I think they're cooler, or do I feel that way about all animals?
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I feel like that if you're, for me, like if I can't find a reason to kill that animal that makes logical sense, I'm probably not going to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like in that case, like I don't know that fox is killing too many deer or doing damage to the landscape that I could see as affecting
That's
me.
kinda my thing.
You know, like, and I know maybe that's kind of like narrow-minded too with
Mm-hmm.
the deer because I'm hunting them or whatever. But I don't know. I just like if I can't put much logical use to it, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm not going to do anything about it.
At the same time, I guess what really bothered me is that day I shot a coyote. And I'm like, okay, am I being hypocritical? Because, like, I'm passing judgment on this fella for shooting a fox when I shot a coyote earlier. And my excuse is that coyote's predating on, whitetails out there, and they have cattle. And the whole idea is like shoot coyotes on side. That's that's the rule of the ranch. But am I at a place for like feeling something for that fox? I don't know. I didn't mean to make this like a big gush fest.
I know. It's an interesting thing. It's kind of hard thing to unwrap.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have much of a feedback or answer for you other than my bird died today.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Tyler rescued an American goldfinch and it passed on.
If it was a different country goldfinch, I probably wouldn't have rescued it. But no, I did. I had a bird, and if you think KC's story is soft, this is soft right here, man. Something's wrong with
Bunch
me.
of softies up in here.
We are, for real. But I rescued this little bird, and I thought, man, my kids and my wife saw it on the way in, and it was underneath this bush that we've had birds nest in before right in front of our house. And he's sitting there on this little piece of wire, and I'm like, this thing looks kind of fluffy. Maybe it's a baby that fell out of the nest. I'm like, I know this isn't the right time of year, but some things weird happen sometimes like that. And so I get a big like clear blue container, like a big one that you would put storage bin or whatever, and I kind of usher him into the container. He hops in there, and so I grab him some food, and I grab him some water, put some branches in there for him to hop up on, and I had a little bowl that I put paper towels in, like a nest, and I just brought him in out of the cold because it's been super cold, And I thought, well, if it's a little baby bird, maybe he just needs a couple of days to get warmed up here and put him back in the nest. And so yesterday I talked to KC, which was I think the next day after I pulled him inside. And he was like hopping around all day in there and stuff, which is probably because he was like dying. I don't know. But anyway, I was like, I talked to KC. I was like, dude, what do I do about this bird, man? Is this a full grown one, first of all? He's like, yeah, it is. And he's like, man, songbirds are hard to take care of. They're hard to revive because they're just, a lot of times they won't eat, and they're not very good at storing fat, and they die pretty quickly. And not to mention, I think their heart can race really fast, right?
Yeah, they get stressed out real bad.
So anyway, I stopped hearing him move around in the late evening yesterday, and I thought, well, it's just dark, and he's probably going to sleep or whatever. And then I never heard him move around this morning, and I had my reminder on my phone that it's supposed to get up into like the low to mid 40s today, so I thought, well, I'll let him go today, and maybe he'll have a chance. Because KC was telling me to pop his head off and be done with it, and I was like, dude, I cannot do that.
Well, I'm not going to say I said that. Let's just strike that, because that may or may not be legal since it's a songbird. But
okay.
I would feel like there's that. What's the way the law is written, the way the law is interpreted? What's that called? Anyways.
Gray area?
Nah, like there's the way it's meant to be interpreted versus the way it's written. Like that's the two ways that you can like view a law. And I feel like by putting a bird out of its misery that is not going to continue to live, like there shouldn't be anything wrong with that.
Yeah,
but, hey,
I mean, I'm with you on that too. But I just like, it's not like I told him. He's like, never done that on a duck or whatever. And I've rang a bunch of duck necks. I told him, I was like, man, I've done it on a bunch of doves, but it's not my favorite thing about dove hunting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't love pulling the head off of a dove.
Well, when I was a little kid, I did.
Ooh.
I don't know why.
Dude, you're like one of those kids that grows up to be freaking mass murderer.
Yeah, mass murderer of deer.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay, I could have made a really good joke there.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just couldn't do it, and I didn't want to stomp him or do anything. I just wanted to give him a day, let it warm up, and see what let him have a chance. Because I know if I pop his head off or do something like that, he ain't gonna live.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, he was dead this morning when I went in there. Kind of sad, man.
What'd you do with him?
Threw him out in the yard.
Just tossed him out there?
Yeah, I think there's been some cats that hang around. I think probably get him, and eat them up. And luckily, God created a world where nothing goes to waste.
That's right.
So even in an oil spill, there's going to be bacteria eating it out there in the ocean.
Ew.
So-
I'd rather not let them eat it. I'd rather that the non-waste be used differently.
Yeah.
For that.
What do you think about?
Just like the normal chain of events as opposed to the oil that kills the things. And
Yeah, it's true.
yeah.
It's true.
But anyways, okay.
Yeah.
So that kind of wraps. Oh no, it doesn't. I found an arrowhead,
Yeah.
which
Dadgummit.
is kind of common for me. How about you?
Okay. Super common for me. I found all of 0 in my lifetime.
That's what you get for hunting in Kansas, dude. There ain't no Indians up there.
Dude, our landowner has told us that like one of the last battles in Kansas what happened on her property. Like a great battle between white man and tan man.
Man, I'm gonna have to go up there and look and steal all
Yeah.
y'all's arrowheads.
I would love for you to. I've spent time like walking.
Have you?
But dude, I just get like when I'm just like walking
start
down a
asking
creek looking
questions?
at rocks. Yeah, that's one thing I definitely do. I start looking at rocks, I just get dizzy, and I'm like, okay, never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, well, I spend a lot of time with my eyes on the ground, and
See, I'm more like finding deer with my eyes.
yeah, well, I do that too.
Do you?
Yeah, from time to time. But anyways, I feel like this arrowhead is either Apache, Lipan Apache, or Comanche. Depends on who was there when. But either way, it's kind of like that medium sized. So I wonder if it went on an atlatl. I don't really know, but I don't think Comanches Cherokees or Apaches use those. But anyways,
Comanches or Cherokees?
yeah, I get them.
Because you did this to me
I
earlier.
know. Cherokees are Oklahoma/Florida. Okay, so not around here. But anyways, it's like that medium-sized point where it's like, what did this really do? Because it's too big to go on an arrow, but really too small for a spear point. I don't really know what it was for. It's not shaped like a knife because it's got that the twist. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So like they fashioned them to where they would twist in the air, kind of like what we do with our fletchings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be flying through the air for something. But either way, it's a really cool piece. Really, it's pretty complete. White. We don't get a lot of white ones up here. They're usually kind of like purplish flint or something. So it's a cool find. But
Man, that's cool.
yeah, so fun trip overall for us, man, and got to go and just hang out and brought home 3 deer because my buddies were involved with the Hunters for the Hungry this weekend.
Yep.
Gave me a couple deer. Brought home that stag and ground him up. And
Did you?
Yeah.
Dude, nasty.
I know. Don't tell Cassie. But
Ooh.
I think he's going to be fine. I mean, he was skinny, but the meat looked great. So I grounded up. He's going to be all ground. I didn't save any steaks.
That's a good
off of
idea.
him. So chili meat, I'm probably not going to need burgers out of him because it's still kind of like eating a steak, But like
Yeah.
anything with some heavy flavoring, it'll be fine.
It's kind of like that South Park episode.
Yeah. Well, I thought that. Yeah. I thought that my idea is okay. So you're telling me there's a bunch of steers running around out here, a bunch of good fat eating deer that like bucks that don't ever rut. Sign me up.
Yeah.
And then he shot this one, and it was super bone skinny because it's so old. If you could find a stag that's like 3 or 4, dude, I'm guarantee you it's like freaking steer Angus beef.
Dude, I don't mean to stir nothing up, but I've never seen one of those.
I know, man. I know. So
And
I don't understand it.
they're prevalent.
Our buddy Matt Ross and I have been talking about this some, and we're going to continue to have some conversations about it because there's still a lot of gray area. But the word is, okay, and this is just local lore, is that there's something in the ground minerals out there that causes it to be more prevalent. Because it's just that little area, okay? You head 20 miles south, it doesn't happen. You head 20 miles back east, it doesn't happen. Like, in their area of their ranch, they're like, they have 2,500 acres, and he's got like 6 or 7, or maybe even 8 on camera of these stags.
So, what about the people that are raised up out there? Are they the same way?
I don't know about
Stags?
that. No, they seem pretty cool, I guess. There's a bunch of bearded men, so
Are they?
I mean, yeah, they're
Bearded ladies.
None of those. They're fully pubescent, so I think they're fine. But not fine, but you know what I'm saying.
yeah, okay, we see.
No, I don't know.
Starting to
It's
take my role.
It was kind of a weird thing, man. So look for more updates on that because I'm going to try to get to the bottom of this thing a little bit more because everybody is very willing to weigh in on what the buck's condition is, which I get that. Like he's got small little pieces, but what's causing it is what I want to know more about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's pretty like evident what's going on, but like I want to know why it's prevalent in that area. But
Well,
anyways,
cool.
yeah, fun hunt. So
Yep.
while I was doing that, you were somewhere else hunting winged fowl, correct?
Yes, I almost, winged, not wicked. I thought you said wicked at first. Yeah, I was, we were in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Yep. We,
where the wind comes ripping down plains.
that's it. That's the same place. My dad went on a hunt a couple years ago with some people that he met through working and stuff. His I guess his buddy has a son that's probably similar age to me, and anyway, they went out to this outfitter that they have been going with for like 15 years, and my dad was like, "Man, it was like the best goose hunt I've ever had. They were working hard for us, man. We had a great time, great hunt, whatever." So I think this was 2 years ago, and so we finally planned to do it again this year. We've been planning it for a long time. And, I mean, for like 4 months now, I've been thinking it was 2 weeks later than it was going to be because my dad. But, yeah, so we ended up going up there, and my dad paid for my trip for Christmas present, and he also took my buddy Chris, who's basically my brother, and my brother-in-law. We all went.
How's old Billy with a shotgun?
I don't know. But he did. I'm almost 100% sure he killed a goose.
Yeah?
Because I was beside him, and he pulled the trigger, and the goose went down.
That's good.
But,
so you do know.
Well, I don't know how good he is with a shotgun because I don't know if that was like luck or what. He hadn't hunted hardly.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's ever hunted.
Yeah. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, he had a great time. So
Good.
it looked like, and I was I had to kind of show him how to put the shells in the gun and everything, and watch myself.
He's
a
an
little bit.
adventurous sort.
Yeah,
He likes new stuff.
He does, but he was very responsible with the shotgun. I was surprised,
Yeah.
very surprised, because he can be a little bit of a daredevil. But like, he was good with safety, and he wasn't like rushing up trying to shoot every bird. Like there was probably almost half the times that birds came in, he didn't even shoot because he just didn't feel comfortable. Like geese were on his side or whatever.
Isn't that kind of a funny thing? Like, when you talk about, like, whitetails, everybody's super cautious about shot placement, and you're not just flinging lead. But then when it comes to waterfowl, like, you shoot hoping you hit them.
Yeah.
It's like such a contradictory thing,
Yeah. And that the wing shooting stuff can get dangerous, man.
Oh, yeah.
And so we were worried about it.
I know a number of people that have, like, lead shot in them, for,
Really?
like dove hunts or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I know
I've been
3 different
hit,
guys.
but from distance.
Well, yeah, peppering. I've had that
Yeah.
happen for sure.
I mean, I had a guy. One time I was in a sunflower field, and a bird flies in between me and a guy that I did not know was there, and he was literally 40 yards, and pops up out of the sunflowers, points directly at me, and fires, and I dropped to the ground, and I could hear it just blasting the sunflowers all around me. Anyway, but yeah, Billy did good, man. I was like, I don't know, somebody like that can get so easily excited, probably as a newbie, is you would expect them to just kind of fling that gun around pretty, and he was really good with it, man. But anyway, we went with, I guess we had, let's see, it was us, 4, and then we had 6. The other crew was 6, but we all kind of knew each other a little bit, pretty much. And so there was 10 of us the first morning, and we killed 51 geese. And everybody shot Canada's lessers, but I shot a speck and a snow.
Ooh.
So I had the trio, man.
The slam.
That's the slam, and the speck was real good, man.
Yeah.
Like if I had the money, it would be one of those ones you'd want to mount. Really barred up.
That's cool.
So anyway, did that, and then hunted a little kind of slough pond that afternoon. Killed a few ducks. It was real relaxing, and then the next morning was not that great of a hunt. We did kill one greater and a couple of lessers, and I shot at some pintails that were like 60 yards going sideways. So anyway, it was a good hunt though. Same thing, man. Like we had just great conversation, great camaraderie. And we went. I rode with my dad and a buddy of his, Wayne, and man, it was a blast. Like, I don't know. Like, this makes me sound really old or old school or whatever, but there's something about, like you were saying with the phone, not having the phone to bother you. Well, there's also something about like I can set my phone down. I'm not like attached to it. I mean, I use it as much as anybody probably, but like I can set my phone down and not pick it up every spare second that I'm bored, which some people can't do that very well. When you have people with you that don't decide to do that, it's like, well, what are we on this hunt together for? Why are we eating lunch together? Like, we're not even talking, And I'll tell you one thing that I do enjoy about hunting with older guys is that, like, they're not glued to their phones. And, I mean, we had some dang good conversations for guys that are, 25, 30 years older than me, Yeah. And I enjoyed the heck out of everybody there, really. So,
dude, I think that's part of the reason you and I are as good of friends as we are, because we started, like, our friendship on a trip to a place that had no cell phone service. And it made us, like, talk to each other a bunch, And we did a cell phone service for a while and got off on our map and, like, made, like, a 20-mile venture off. But you know what I mean, though? Like, if we'd have had cell phone service and been, like, taking social media stuff and all that for, like, on our first, outing or whatever, who knows? I mean, we probably would still be friends, but like, I feel like that really does help. Like, there's something to communication and having, like, the know-how and the knowledge to, even like now when we go do stuff, to be able to, even though like the temptation to pick up the phone's there, you don't, just because it's nice. Like, I know I've been the driver. Whenever the person in the passenger seat's on their phone, you're like, well, all right, I guess I'm just going to look at the clouds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the middle of the day, deer out.
Yeah.
So,
or I'm extremely tired. Could you please talk to me?
Yes, exactly.
That's tough, man.
I'm thinking about, I guess we were headed home from Colorado, and we spent like 2 hours doing impersonations of TV personalities. Do you remember that?
You're so good. You're so good at them, dude.
Oh, man.
I'm not.
My Roger Ragland, that's the best one. Well, I might do that for y'all one of these days.
Yeah, that would be excellent. Yeah, KC he can go through the outdoor TV personalities, man, pretty well. But yeah, man, I'm with you on that, man. Like I would suggest don't be that guy.
Don't be the guy.
Don't be that guy that's always on his phone, man. Like a huge reason you should be hunting is just to spend quality time with your buddies, man. And I mean, like we talked about earlier, we spend a lot of time getting after deer and stuff like that. And there's something to be said for that. Like, you're trying to prove something to yourself. It's a little bit of that competitive nature and just that, being a man, but man, when you got buddies around, drop that phone for a little bit and pay attention, and it sure does make that trip so much more fun, in my opinion. When you can, dude, how much do we laugh? And I did the same thing on this trip this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure y'all did
Us
too. Like
just
laughing your heads off.
And this is just something I'm coming up with off the top of my head, but like, I wonder if things are funnier now than what they used to be. Like, because we're so involved in social media or so buried in our phones or whatever. A lot of people are, not saying that you and I are, but like the times whenever you actually do have to remove yourself from that and like conversate, like, does that make jokes funnier or events funnier because it's just less common? It's more rare that those experiences happen.
Could be. I don't know.
I know we
laughed my head
laughed
off.
so hard. Okay, I'm not going to sell out on who it was, but one of my buddies somehow inadvertently referred to the other friend as Big Daddy. and wasn't even trying to do it or make a joke. And I caught it, and I said, "Did you just call him Big Daddy?" And ever since then, that's it.
Yeah.
He's Big Daddy,
Don't
man.
let him live it down.
Oh, no way. No
Yeah,
way.
old
It's just
Big
little
Daddy.
stuff like that, you know.
Oh yeah, dude. We had a funny one. We had a guy that was just talked about like, because we smoked them the first day.
Yeah.
Like we smoked them. It was awesome. And there were some guys that couldn't go with us, and there was this guy that was just kept talking about. He kept making a joke, cracking on them, you know, and it was just one little like phrase, and we laughed. There was 48 hours worth of time in there, and we laughed like every time it was brought up, you know.
Yeah.
It's just things like that. Guys don't get to live down, you know, and it makes the trip fun, man, when you got that little inside joke.
Yeah, it also makes the trip fun whenever like you're all on the same playing field and you're not like being accused of being a bully or something like that. You know, like you're just all cutting up, having fun, and nobody gets their feelings hurt. That's like the best part about having those good relationships with people. You know, like tonight, you and I had a lot of fun talking to some new people, but like we couldn't like really cut up and like pick hard at people, because it's not okay socially. You know, you don't want to pick at somebody hard that you don't know well.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like when you go and you have those really close relationships and you get to just joke and laugh, man, that's just really what this culture is all about.
Yeah, it's big. It's a big part of it, man. And when we talk so much about conservation and you know, trying to grow the sport of hunting instead of letting it shrink and all of these things, and none of that really is very possible if you don't have camaraderie and fellowship
Sure.
within the community.
It's like what we were talking about earlier tonight. Like, there are going to be a lot of times you go, you don't kill something. Well, what's going to make that trip enjoyable if you focus on the kill?
Yeah.
Right? Not much if you
Yeah.
don't get to kill anything. But, like, if you take the combination of wild places and good friends, anything can be fun.
Oh yeah,
You
it'll
know?
be fun every time, and then the kill's icing on the cake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. We didn't have like a ton of topic for this. We wanted to kind of run through our hunts, and ended up on a subject that I thought was pretty good. But
Yeah.
you know, we don't have a whole lot more to say, but we did want to check in with you guys and make sure you got a little content you heard from us, and man, there was some kind of feedback I was hoping to get from everybody on something, and I can't remember what it was, but the podcast that we did earlier today, I do know is going to be pretty awesome for you
Real
guys to
good.
listen to.
Yeah. In-person interview, those, you know, I love the way those
Way
go,
better.
man.
Yep.
And just spoke with some young people who are doing some big things for, you know, habitat and the animals that we all love.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, we talked a lot about just employing yourself a little more than just buying your hunting license and stuff like that. Man, there's just so many good topics. I can't wait for you guys to hear this, and hopefully we'll get you something with some good tactical information soon. We've been talking to a lot of guests. We just got to get some stuff nailed down with them. But in the meantime, make sure, I don't know if you guys saw our final PLC, but if you didn't, go watch it, of 2017.
There's a toad on there.
There's a toad. There's actually 2 toads on there, and a real close encounter that we had. And we're gonna have some fishing stuff coming out soon.
Yeah.
So be ready for that.
Yeah, and then we've got a event coming up.
That's
right?
true. We've got a live podcast. We talked about it in the last episode. But if you missed it, we had a live podcast with some buddies of ours from Stormwater Creek podcast. And I think it's going to be, what's the place? Legal Draft in Arlington. Legal Draft in Arlington.
On the 17th?
17th of February. So the 17th of February at the Legal Draft in Arlington. We'll let you know when we nail down a time. And
It'll be the evening.
yeah, it'll be evening time when
Clear up
people
your
show
whole
up.
evening for
Yeah.
us. It'll be great.
So yeah, exactly. But I think we're gonna have a moderator from Texas Backcountry Hunters and Anglers
Yeah.
that we know that's gonna help navigate the conversation, and it's gonna be a good time. There's gonna be, I think, several guys from the BHA Texas branch there, and you guys can come, and we're going to try to open it up and get some questions from some people, and make sure that we all get involved and talk about how our whitetail season went and what we got planned in the rest of the 2018 all the way back up until deer season again. So it ought to be real fun, and I hope that we see you guys there. Anything else? Any final word?
Little Birdie says, not the one that you had because he can't say anything, but
Oh,
poor Little Birdie. Little Birdie says that there will be Element T-shirts
that's right.
at this event.
Yeah, we're going to bring some T-shirts out. So hopefully you have enough.
Hopefully so. Get there quick.
Yeah, get there quick.
Yeah.
But we've got a few, and we'll bring them out, and they will be for sale. They're really cool. If you scroll back on our Instagram a little bit, you can find them, I'm sure, somewhere in the Instagram feed if you haven't seen them yet. But are they on our Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I thought. So anyway, yeah, they're pretty cool. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to leave you, and we're going to leave this place that we're sitting at parked, and go to bedtime.
I might go home and cut up some deer meat. I still haven't got everything cut up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know. But
Dude, you went from zero to hero in your house.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it, man.
Well, God bless you guys for listening. I hope you guys have big plans for the spring, because I know we do, and we'll be getting back with you soon. Love you guys, and remember, this is your element.
Living it.
Hey everybody, listen up. I got mega huge news. Meat Eater Live is heading back out on the road. That's right. Join me and the crew. Clay Newcomb, Cal, Yanni, Spencer's going to be there. Phil the engineer's going to be there. Meat Eater Live headed back out. Now, when you get every ticket, okay? Every ticket you buy, you get a signed copy of our new Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook. This tour is celebrating the release of the book. Buy a ticket, get a signed copy, Meat Eater Outdoor Cookbook, wild game recipes for the grill, smoker, camp stove, and campfire, which I'll point out is a $38 value. Here's where we're going to go. April 23rd, the Mesa Arts Center in Mesa, Arizona. April 24, the Balboa Theater in San Diego. April 25, the Grove in Anaheim, California. April 27, the Crest Theater in Sacramento. April 29, the Union in Salt Lake City. April 30, the Egyptian in Boise. May 1, the Wilma Theater in Missoula. May 2, the Bing Crosby Theater in Spokane, Washington. May 4, Revolution Hall in Portland, Oregon. And May 5, the last day of the tour, Pantages Theater in Tacoma, Washington. For tickets and more information, visit the events page at themeateater.com. Hope to see you at the show.